Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, and welcome back to 1,000 Ways to Have a Happy Marriage. We are here with our guests, Aishia and Lance. And they are back with us this week from last week.
Woohoo!
I know, finally, thank God. And then I'm here as always, of course, with my co-host Chelsea.
Hi, everybody.
And let's see, let's just go around the room and see what you guys are having to drink. Our guests, do you guys want to go first?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure what's in her cup, but in my cup we have Crown Royal and a splash of ginger ale.
Nice.
The same.
The same thing.
Nice.
Perfect.
I'm over here sipping on a Bloody Mary. I decided to get like super fancy this week. I know. Whenever I go out like to bars, that's always like what I get because it's too much effort to make one at home. But like that's not an option. So
So if you want it, you have to make it yourself now.
it's pretty good. What about you, Chelsea? What are you drinking?
I am also switching it up this week. I am doing rum and Coke. I know, right? Well, my husband is back. So it's not just me taking care of a baby. So we can like tag team it.
No judgment.
Yup. And we're also like, because he was out of the country, so we're like under house arrest essentially. Like we can't go to the grocery store, so we don't have a lot of options. So rum and Coke it is.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
I'm like, I can only have one because I think if I have more than one, I might be like on the floor. Yep. I know. I just have like beer and wine now. So like when I have liquor, it's like whew, straight to the head.
I know. Same. That's not true. I take that back. I drink liquor way more often.
I was gonna say, no, Joe, you do. You do. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a lie.
I've never really been a big fan of liquor. I've just always tolerated it.
Yeah.
As it going in.
Yeah. No, I honestly would say I am a fan of liquor. So I don't know what I'm talking about. As we learned last week, you guys have twins.
Yeah.
Wild times. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about like yourselves and your lives and like what you guys like? Just let us get to know you a little bit.
Sure. So yeah, we have twin 1-year-olds.
Wild.
We met 3 years ago via Twitter. He DM'd
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, social media. It actually worked out.
That he was not hitting on me.
Yes.
And then 6 months later, we were engaged.
I love it.
And then a year after that, we got married, and then we went to Puerto Rico for our honeymoon, and got pregnant, and there's 2 of them. So,
I mean, it happened quickly, but it didn't feel that way. It kind of happened like, the next logical step when something feels good. You know what I mean?
Like it was very organic.
Yeah, you didn't have to think about it. Like after I sent the DM and we spoke in text for a while, I think that maybe like 6 to 8 weeks passed, and we had like said "I love you" to each other, and we hadn't even met until
we had named our children.
Wow.
Well, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And they're named what we said we would name.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cute.
Was that a shock?
Yeah.
And that's like 8 weeks in. And then I come out and I ask her to be my girlfriend on Cinco de Mayo weekend. So we celebrate that every year as well. And then, so we were officially dating in May. We were engaged in August, then married in July, and then had twin girls to follow in April.
Oh, wow.
So it's been bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. And honestly, wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it was, I had gone through a lot of stuff in my life, as far as relationships goes. And, some stuff, you just kind of get burned out on the whole thing. Like, it takes work to get to a place where, it feels organic and natural, and you can just be yourself, your whole self and your real self.
Yeah.
And meet somebody, and like from almost immediately, that's who you can be. And so, rather than have to build to that, you just start there, and it becomes like, it feels like home. like returning home after a long vacation.
Oh, so sweet.
That's cool. That's such a unique perspective that I don't feel like a lot of people have that you guys are able to talk about, and I love hearing about it. I think that's awesome. So, question number 1. Yes, we both love this one. I don't know if you guys watched the video we published today, where we were just telling everyone and explaining that you guys were going to be back, but we both really loved your answers to this one. What is the most important skill to have in a marriage?
It was humility.
Yes.
Yeah, that was your answer.
Because it takes a certain level of humility in order to improve yourself. If you don't think that you have room for improvement, you can never be a better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what the act of love is. It was Dick Gregory. He said, they asked, he was married 50 years. And he said, it wasn't about, love. It was, can you be lovable? And that was one of the things, I heard a while back that stuck with me. And so the ability to take self-inventory and say, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I don't always do what I say I'm going to do. Sometimes, I think it's not as serious as what it is. When actually, I said I was going to, you know what I mean? Like just the stuff where you can take yourself through it.
Yeah.
And realize, okay, I can be better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
definitely.
Awareness I think that is absolutely critical in a relationship. And in fact, I put that in my vows to my husband. I told him that I promised to always keep working on myself, because I think that is such an important thing to have in a relationship.
And there's always that saying that, like, you guys, if you don't grow together, you grow apart.
Yeah.
So if you're not willing to, like, work on yourselves and grow with each other and fix things about yourselves that might, that's easily fixable. If not, then it seems that, like, people tend to just drift apart.
Yeah.
They forget about the positives and they're just focused on that negative.
What about your answer, Aisha?
Wait, this isn't a group project?
You can totally take his answer. Absolutely.
I'm with Aisha. I'd be like, yeah, that was perfect, babe. Good job. High five.
You nailed it.
I think my gut response is forgiveness, but I think it's kind of the same thing. I think a big part of marriage is giving the other person grace. And so in all the things they do, you have to assume that their intentions were the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even when they're saying something that doesn't sound nice or feels critical or is annoying or whatever the case may be, you have to run it through a filter of love that you might not give everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Because at the root of whatever that person is saying is love.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is something that I feel like marriage has taught me, and something I feel like I am not good at. Like I have had to work. I have had to work to tell my brain to be like, no. Like,
this is not an attack.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's been a challenge. And I think for probably both me and my husband, it's something that we both have to work on. But I think you said that word grace, and like that is like the perfect word. You do. You just give your spouse, you have to give them so much grace. Okay, what is the worst habit to bring into a relationship?
That's a hard one.
It's a difficult one to potentially talk about.
I can speak for myself. Can I speak for myself?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
My shortcomings. I would say the tendency to think about just about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if that's been a part of who you are, men and women, you're single and dating or doing whatever for so long that you just get used to thinking about yourself, taking care of yourself. There's nobody else you feel responsible for in that manner. Then, something as simple as going to the store and only bringing you back a snack. Like, you don't even think about that. You just always have gone to get your own snack. You know what I mean? And it's like,
that would be horrible.
I didn't even think. You're right. I bet you probably would like a snack too, right? I didn't think about it at the time. I only thought about what I wanted. And so sometimes it's small like that. But if you catch it in small like that, it stops from getting the other parts. And
You're not wrong.
I've tried to be better at it. I really do feel like I have, because I don't think it's gotten. I might still occasionally forget to bring a snack, but it hasn't gone beyond, just doing like that.
No, I totally hear that. I bet my husband would be able to relate with you on that one. What do you think? Do you have a different answer?
So I'm going to kind of come at it the same way he did in terms of like what my own thing I think is. I think that it is a bad habit to bring in. I do things the right way, and I need him to do them my way. And that has been an adjustment. I think for me, it boils down to being an acts of service person in terms of how I receive love. But is that act of service still valuable if it's done differently than the way you envisioned it?
Right.
And so I think now I'm at the point where he puts the baby clothes away, and frankly, I don't care what drawer they're in. They don't have to be stacked and organized the way I would do it. The fact that they're folded and put away is helpful and meaningful, and gives us time together because you did this act of service for me.
Yeah. And
so getting past that, my way is the right way. And not only that, but let me tell you how to do it right.
Those are both good. It's just
a helpful
reminding yourself it's not about you. It's not 100% about you anymore. You have to do things, either change something about yourself or do things differently or be flexible. That's a huge thing, is being flexible.
Yeah. Working on it.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
And I'll say for a lot of men, just that male ego, like just that not willingness to back down. And it's, I don't know if it's a social thing that we've been, conditioned to be this way, or if it's just natural, whatever it may be. But men naturally fall into a hierarchy when we're in groups. There'll be a certain things that play out, but those rules that you play with, or that you interact with people, you don't do that or bring that into a relationship. So if your wife is giving you some kind of advice, you take it as counsel rather than critique.
With grace.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's tough sometimes because it might be what you don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But you really don't want to be with somebody who won't tell you what you don't want to hear, because 9 times out of 10, that's what you need to hear.
Yeah. Well, right. If you pick the right partner, ideally, you picked a person who you think could do that for you. So that's the point. Are you guys ready to move on to question 3?
Yeah. Break it.
How do you keep things intimate after years together?
Booze. Alcohol.
That is my girl right there.
I think remembering, when you can remember the fact and kind of go into that space where it's like, oh man, like, I really love her. You automatically want to become intimate, like so you just tap into that, really at any given time. Like it never goes away. It's just, whether you're willing to do the work to tap in to that energy that you guys already know you have.
That's right.
So, if you want to do it, go on a date night, have some fun, there's a pretty good chance, that you guys are going to want to engage in intimacy.
So one thing that I think helps keep emotional intimacy alive for me is such a silly thing too. Time Hop, the app that shows you like year to date.
Yeah.
I think partly because we met on Twitter at the time, we were tweeting a lot. I almost never tweet now, which feels really sad. But so
I still tweet a lot.
Those things pop up, right? So like today we took our girls to the beach for the first time. A year ago today, there's a picture of them posed and they look like a heart.
Aww.
And so like that pops up, and then you see, 2 years ago today, and it's like pictures of our wedding invitations had come in, and it's like all the pieces. getting ready for the mail. And then, like he'll see 3 years ago today, and it's like back and forth text or tweets from each other. And so like remembering the emotions from year to year reminds you to make every year special.
That's a really cool take on like technology. Yeah. It's kind of become our virtual photo albums,
It is, yeah.
It reminds you of those emotions are so strong. Like if you've really fallen in love, like that uncontrollable free fall, like you never forget what
the
that feels
tiniest
like.
thing will make you remember. Yeah.
Nah, that's, yeah.
It's true.
It is. Technology really does. It keeps us together. It can bring us apart, but it can 100% keep us together and keep us reminding about like what we truly love and see and everything.
Okay. Question number 4. How do you know when to stand your ground or when to compromise?
You tell me.
I feel like
Amen, girl.
you only stand your ground when you believe it's a reflection of your core principle as a couple, if that makes sense. Like
Explain. Explain.
So it's like if you guys, decide that you want to move to a different city or whatever it is, and you're making decisions based solely off money, when part of you guys' discussions and dreams and goals is that you want to live the kind of life where you are intentionally choosing happiness over whatever else. Like, money will come, whatever it is, but we're going to do what makes us happy over it. Then why would you make a decision based off money? So I think in that instance, you would say, no, we can't do that because we made a commitment to each other that we will live this kind of life. But other than that, everything else is negotiable. I mean, if it's not a core principle,
I think we have a lot of spirited discussions. Okay? We do not argue often at all. It's really rare. But we have a lot of like spirited debate style discussion, which is just a part of our personalities. And so we stand our ground in some ways in terms of this is what I think, this is my opinion on this particular matter. But when it comes to matters of our relationship or our family, if you can say yes, you say yes, is kind of how we decided to go into it.
I like that.
And that was something he said to me when we were dating, was that if you can say yes, you say yes. So if you can yield and it doesn't violate who you are as a person, then you yield. Because the goal is to be happy, not to be right.
I like it.
I like that. The goal is to be happy, not to be right.
That's the title of the episode.
That's a good goal to have, though. It's what you need to remind yourself when you start arguing a lot.
And that ties back to that humility part too, right? Because it takes somebody who has that peace, who's able to say, I don't have to win every battle.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the final question, and this is the big one. How do you have a happy marriage?
I'm going to get controversial. Can I get controversial for a second?
Get controversial.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
I think that you need. I think that you need to have a deity or supreme creator, God. You need a source that you draw energy from, love, and that gives you some type of spiritual, moral, and ethical guidance on how to deal with humans and the spouse. I think that's very I think it's important to have a standard that you guys agree to and can go to. And that standard that you both agree is above what may be your own individual standpoint.
I like the way you articulated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because it can be whatever you need it to be for yourself, but it helps to have that there.
I mean, you can pull from that. I mean, just the understanding that it's bigger than just you. Like that in and of itself makes you think in ways that it's easy. If you know that you're part of a larger collective, well, then you understand that in a microcosm of that, that's what your relationship is. I'm part of a larger collective. I'm not a person of one. I'm really two people trying to be on one accord, which is like a small idea, but the world is really striving for. We're looking to be 7 billion people all working together towards the goal, you know. But I think it's difficult when you can't appeal to a power that's higher, you know, than you. Now you can do it, you know. I would never discount. I think it helps.
For some people, I think that it does for sure make a difference. Yeah, and I agree. It doesn't for everybody. They don't need it, but I think for some people it does make a difference. And the ability to acknowledge that, like, it's just your source, that's critical. You know?
Well, it can also be like your source of therapy if you need it to be too.
Right.
Like it's somebody that you can reach out to depending on like your relationship with the spiritual being or higher power that you have. That can be like when things get rough, you can step back and have that conversation with, you know, whatever you believe.
Right.
And it can take yourself outside of the moment and actually have the bigger picture.
Yeah. Right. I mean, even counseling and therapy, I believe, is spiritual to a degree because it deals with something that's not tangible. You know what I mean? And so you go and talk to somebody and you're trying to figure out what this is. And, you know, in that instance, it could just be, you know, mental health is the standard. You know, what does good mental health look like? And if you're trying to strive towards that, because that's really not tangible, but you feel it. You know when you're in a good mental place. And so I think you have to have something. You know, for me and, you know, and my family, you know, it's God, you know, it's our faith. But for another, you gotta have something that you can appeal to outside of your relationship. That's like the rule book or the standard by which you guys are gonna follow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Aisha, what are your thoughts on that?
That was a great answer, Lance. That the Crown Royal is kicking in. I think that to have a happy marriage. Okay, so I think that having a happy marriage is much like any other goal. I think it is about committing to do just that, and sometimes it's just that simple. So, you know, we have these twin girls. I wanted to breastfeed. When people say, well, how were you able to breastfeed twins? The answer is that I decided to. Before they got here, I decided that was what I was going to do, right? And so I think marriage for me, happy marriage, has been the same. I've seen a lot of successful marriage in terms of didn't end in separation or divorce, but not necessarily happy, right?
Yeah.
Where both parties as individuals were happy or as a collective were happy, right? And so coming into marriage, I decided that was what I was going to have, that I wasn't going to have a just successful marriage or just a long-term or just a till death do you part or, you know, just a faithful marriage, whatever, but that it was going to be a happy marriage. And when you decide something like that and you're committed to it, you pick your battles and you decide where it's not happy and how to make it happy. And you decide where it's happy and how to do more of that. But you decide, you have to commit that this is the goal, this is the end game, this is what I want to do.
So many people, I think, and myself included, listen, I am one of those people, goes into marriage not realizing at all what a commitment it is. And I only think that I could have made it work with like my spouse because there was so much love there when it started, and like it is a lot of telling yourself every day, I'm going to figure out like how to be happy on both parts. Like, and you're just like, and then I realized over time, I was like, that is choosing that person every day, kind of. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
This is pretty cool.
This was like a great conversation.
I'm glad we figured.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay, you guys, shoot us. What's your weekly win?
What's a weekly win?
So far, I've gotten all A's in my classes for this semester.
Lance is in seminary.
Do a high five.
Full-time seminary student.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Do a high five. Yeah.
That's
That is
awesome.
awesome. That's a big one.
I'm excited. I'm going for valedictorian.
Get it. Get it.
My weekly win is that we are vacationing. We have run off to the beach.
Oh,
and so I just really needed a change of scenery for my mental health. And, you know, with all the stuff going on, it didn't seem like that was an easy thing to figure out, but we figured it out. And I said to Lance, can we go to Florida tomorrow? And he said, okay. And we got in the car.
You guys are in Florida. That's my favorite state.
It feels like a huge win, and I just feel
that is a huge one.
That's awesome.
It feels nice. You know, you're not worried about your laundry or your everything.
You get to have a break.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.
All right, tell us what's yours.
My husband came back home. So there you go.
That's such a great win.
Yeah, I can't really beat that. So there we are. And Joe, what's yours?
Right,
so mine is kind of a long story, so I'm going to say it fast so I can get it all out. So my dog, my baby, Bullet, my oldest, my first true love, my one and only, has in the past had, he gets yeast infections on his skin. This isn't a thing that's uncommon for him. And so he started having what looked like a really bad bout of this yeast infections. And we were doing like the baths every other day, and we were doing the ointment, and we were like putting on the cream, and we were like, and you know, right now you're not supposed to take your animals to the vet if it's on extreme. And like when you have 4 pets, like, I don't know, I'm like a nurse mom, because I have like the zookeeping degree. I'm like, we'll treat it at home and
then
see. Because 9 out of 10 times I solve all the problems. I've never had an issue. I mean, like, and when they have gotten extreme, we go to the vet. So I was like, well, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. And then it would like get better, and then it would get worse again, and then get better. And I was like, what is going on? This dog had poison ivy. This poor baby. There's this spot where we take them to pee and poop. And he always goes, and he's a very private pooper, so he likes to go off into the woods to poop. And so we would let him go, and my husband, God bless him, walked close to that area to observe, and he was like, I think there's poison ivy back there. And he doesn't have any fur on his belly. He's completely bald. This poor baby was peeing and pooping all over poison ivy. So we got him treated with the poison ivy with proper treatment, with the actual stuff, and he's finally better. And
yay!
That's a good win. I'm excited.
But also, I'm a terrible dog mom. Like, I feel horrible. My husband and I are both like, oh my God.
No, you didn't know.
Well, cheers to that, you guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your vacation.
Yes, enjoy. Cheers.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, you too.